I'm ranking all 12 minifigures from the LEGO Marvel Across the Spiderverse series from my least favourite to my favourite. This is easily the most anticipated series of the year and released on September 1st for $4.99 US dollars, $5.99 Australian dollars and £3.49 Great British pounds. It was difficult choosing a minifigure for last place, but I eventually went with Spiderbite. She has a cool deal moulded helmet and hair combo as well as translucent arms and legs. However, I do feel like this minifigure's accuracy is limited by the fact that the translucent plastic isn't strong enough to be used for minifigure torsos. In spot 11 is Cyborg Spider-Woman, one of the obscure characters in the series. She has a cool metallic shoulder pad piece as well as some wire-like web patterns across the suit. However, we did recently see a similar figure in a LEGO book, so I can't help but feel like this is a slightly wasted slot, not to mention how massively undersized it is when compared to its movie counterpart. At number 10 is Miles Morales, who is really similar to the one from the January 2025 set, except this one has arm and leg printing and features energized lightning patterns across the figure. However, a basic Miles figure was a 100% necessary inclusion for this series, and I'm glad that LEGO didn't really change him all that much, because the original figure was pretty much perfect to begin with. I do wish that he had a slightly more interesting accessory than the basic spider though. At number 9 is the werewolf, who uses the LEGO Video wolf head with some cool Spider-Man mask printing. It's cool how the ripped Spidey suit reveals tufts of wolf fur. Whilst being a really great idea for a minifigure, it's unfortunately held back by the complete lack of accessories. I also really wish that the tail was dual moulded like the Disney 100 Robin Hood, as the brown waist really breaks the continuity of the Spidey suit. It's not even like this figure has any new moulds, so I'm guessing it was one of the series' lower budget figures. In spot 8 is Spider, who has really grown on me as a minifigure, despite being one of the lesser known characters. First of all, the orange, black and red colour scheme works brilliantly, and I really love the new backwards cap piece. However, this figure is slightly held back by the absence of an alternate head and hair piece, because we've never seen this character unmasked. Still, the black recolour of the crutch piece is cool, and I do feel like this is a really important minifigure. At number 7 is Webslinger, an epic western-inspired Spider-Man figure who has a waistcoat torso, dual moulded legs complete with boots and a belt, and a shoulder cape with web detailings. His accessories are a tan lasso and Widow the horse. Since he uses the mould from the Series 22 fowl, he does appear to be very undersized when compared to the movie. However, I still think this was the perfect inclusion for this figure. In spot 6 is Prowler, who has two epic new pieces for his hair and mask. The lilac and black colour scheme looks amazing, and I love the look of the mask printing. Unfortunately, he is slightly lacking in accessories, as he only has a printed record and the oversized fist pieces, which aren't even particularly accurate to the character, but I'm still super impressed by this figure as a whole though. In spot 5 is Peter B. Parker, who is one of my favourite characters in the first Spider-Verse movie. This figure depicts his pink nightgown look from the sequel, complete with a baby carrier for Mayday Parker, who looks really adorable. This minifigure is actually pretty similar to the LEGO Fortnite version, which is cool. Had this figure came with a new hairpiece mould for Peter, I would have felt more inclined to rank it higher on the list, as this common side swept piece doesn't fully capture his hairstyle in the movie. Perhaps the Queer-Eye Tan France hair would have better suited him. Before we move on to the final 4 fantastic figures in this series,
say that again?
Please do consider giving the video a thumbs up, it really does support the channel. At number 4 is Miguel O'Hara, aka Spider-Man 2099, who quickly became a fan favourite character following the release of Across the Spider-Verse. Like many figures in this series, he has a head for both his masked and unmasked looks, and the printing on this figure looks amazing. He's certainly an upgrade in detail compared to the 2019 figure, who is currently worth over $60, so I'm glad there's a more affordable way to get this character. He also has a plastic pixelated cape and a printed translucent micro figure for Lila. It's also worth mentioning that this is the first CMF series to include translucent stands, and I think that this orange colour was a fitting choice for this series. In third place is Spider-Man India, who has a really cool wavy side-parted hairpiece as well as a choice of 2 heads. I'm really won over by this minifigure's red and dark azure colour scheme, and I love the detail for his leg printing. His 2 accessories are a teacup and, most interestingly, Spider-Cat, who uses the Series 27 cat piece from earlier this year. The Spider-Cat looks brilliant, and I love how this series gave us 2 Spider-Man themed animals. And so at number 2 is Spider-Punk, who actually did have the top spot when I first drafted this ranking, because I'm just so impressed by the level of detail across his punk rocker jacket and shorts, which even extends onto side leg printing. The customised guitar is an excellent design, and even the Spidey mask has a slightly graffiti-like style. Hobart Brown also has an elaborate new hairpiece, which looks incredible, and a new metallic punk mohawk for his masked form. It's just an outstanding minifigure, and I love how LEGO went all out with the punk theme. And finally, my favourite minifigure is Spider-Gwen, who is just such a drastic improvement on the Gwen minifigure from January 2025 Spider-Verse set, which bared very little resemblance to the character. This one, however, has dual moulded legs with her teal boots, sidearm printing, and a far more accurate face print complete with her freckles, piercing, and lighter eyebrows, capturing a light likeness that's far closer to the movie. Best of all though, she has a brand new side-swept hairpiece, which is actually dual molded to incorporate her pink hair tips. Even the mask print is an upgrade, as the widened eyes feel more animated. This figure is a perfect example of just how unrivaled CMF minifigure quality really is. For an accessory, there's a 2x2 photo of her and Miles. What are your thoughts on this series? Personally, I feel really impressed by the quality of every figure. However, I did find the timing of this series to be slightly strange, as Across the Spiderverse released 2 years ago now, so I would have loved if LEGO had opened up the figure slots to feature characters from the first movie as well, perhaps including Spider-Noir, Spider-Ham, and Penny Parker. It's still an excellent series though, and I'm super excited to see it in stores. That's all for this video, thank you so much for watching, have a great day, bye!